see Jamaica become crime free. If Jamaica and we are Jamaica need for economy. No more prisoner lasting. Revelation set. Eat what we grow. Grow what we eat. It is good for our economy.
Welcome once again to another Agrobuzz, our weekly agricultural program right here on Derain's Coffee Break, as we bring you more news and views and interviews on developments in the agricultural and agro-industrial sector. Recently, head of the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, Peter Knight, disclosed that the authorities have decided against instituting a ban on the catching and eating of parrotfish at this time. Now, this decision, Mr. Knight said, was as a result of extensive discussions with NEPA, the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, and the Fisheries Division of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, and was in response to a campaign for Jamaicans to stop eating parrotfish based on a decrease in the fish population and its implication for the marine environment. So to give us more information on the reason for this decision is Mr. Andre Kong, Director of Fisheries in the Fisheries Division. Good morning to you, Mr. Kong. How's the morning?
Good, not too bad. Good morning, Dorian, to you and your listeners.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Agrobuzz. Now, what's the main reason persons suggested for the implementation of a ban on the catching and eating of parrotfish?
Well, what I've heard being advanced is that the parrotfish serve a very important purpose. Mm-hmm. They are a group of animals that you call herbivores, that feed on plants, algae.
Yes.
So it's not just the parrotfish and sea urchins and doctorfish and other types. Even conch will eat these things. But parrotfish, and truthfully so, they do serve a purpose to remove algae from the coral reef. What happens is that the algae outcompete in certain circumstances, and I will talk about that later. Mm-hmm. They will outcompete the coral polyps. Mm-hmm. and smother them. So instead of you have healthy coral polyps, what you have is the algae. Okay. And the parrotfish will keep them in check. And they also talk about parrotfish producing sand, the white sand.
Yes.
So a lot of figures are banding around 800 pounds and all kind of things that they're saying that each parrotfish will produce these sands.
So go ahead, please.
Yeah. No, well, the issue is, we need to understand where all of this sand is coming from.
Yes.
This is the herbivores eating the coral reef and eroding it. Okay. But anyway, we can talk about that some more.
Yes. So why did the ministry agree with the decision not to go along with this ban at this time, though?
Well, because first of all, there's a whole host of things that cause the degradation of the coral reef. A whole host of things. Mm-hmm. Sedimentation, it's nutrients, it's climate change, it's overfishing, but overfishing and the issue of herbivores is just one of the other causes. Mm-hmm. When we look at the empirical information that exists around the country, around ecosystems, coral reef ecosystems, what we have found is that there is some truth. Yes, there is truth to the fact that there is a correlation between reduced herbivory and decline of coral reefs. Mm-hmm. But this is not a universal situation. It depends. Mm-hmm. We have cases in the Caribbean, in Tobago, a place called Bucco Reef, which is a fish sanctuary, a protected area, no fishing. Mm-hmm. There's a high density of parrotfish there, but the reef is in decline.
Okay.
And why? Because you have impact coming from the land. You have hotels, you have houses, you have all different kind of things that is impacting the coral reef. Mm-hmm. What we are saying is that this so-called ban is unfairly targeting the fishers, which is among the most marginalized and vulnerable groups in this country, to literally affect their livelihoods, because the dominant economic activity for these fishers is the use of traps and nets, which is non-selective. And let me say what I mean by that. They can't control what goes into the traps and what goes into the nets. So what we are saying is that if you do this, what you will do is significantly affect the livelihood of these vulnerable fishers.
Yes.
With a strategy that is not going to solve the problem.
Okay.
The only way you can solve the problem is unless you stop the other things also. The new trends coming from the hotels and the industry and the sedimentation, and there's so many different problems. So it is going to cause significant hardship to the fishers, but it is not going to solve the problem. And there are many, many examples all across the globe and in the Caribbean to back up what I'm saying.
Okay. So what are your suggestions for dealing with the degradation of the coral reefs then?
Well, okay. First of all, it has to be a partnership in my mind. First of all, from the fisheries and the environmental issues. The truth is, Doreen, every single Jamaican, our lifestyle, contributes to this problem, and we need to understand this. You and I and everybody contribute to the problem. Now, in terms of the partnership between environment and fisheries, what we need to do is to use several strategies. One is very important, and that is no-take marine protected areas. Like fish sanctuaries, we need to increase the amount of fish sanctuaries we have across this country. Okay. But we have to put them in areas where it will work. That is in areas that is not impacted on by the sedimentation and the nutrients and the sewage and all these things coming in to destroy the coral reef. Because as I said, there are many areas where there's no fishing. There's a lot of parrotfish, as we say, the stone dog in Jamaica, as we say in Jamaica. But the coral reef is still in decline because you have all of these problems. So we have to do that. One, have more fish sanctuaries. Two, we need to increase the mesh size of the traps. That's how we need to do, so that they will catch larger fish and institute things that we call legal minimum size of fish. But we have to do this on a safe basis. Because if you just put in the shock, it will be a significant dislocation to the fishers. So we have to have a serious partnership and understanding among each other. And we need to help the fishers to retool and help them. Exactly. Because you see, when you do this, when we increase the mesh size, the fishers are going to catch less fish. Right away, and it's going to take some time for them to recover, to start catching the fish. But eventually, over a period of time, they will start catching bigger fish and more fish, and they will start to make more money. But we have to do this thing properly. We have to strategize so that we do not overly dislocate these fishers, so that they are going to run into some serious problems. And I just wanted to make one more point. One of the greatest causes of environmental degradation is poverty. And you can't put a strategy in place that is going to make these fishers less or worse off. And we are going to have a serious problem if we do so. And the other important thing is that fisheries management is changing people's behavior. You're trying to, that is what you're trying to do when you're talking about managing fisheries. It is not the fish. The fish don't know nothing about boundaries and these things. It is the fishers. And if you're unfairly targeting these vulnerable, marginalized people, and they know, they know that these fishers, they understand a lot of things about the sea, and they see where the pollution is coming from. They see the garbage. They see the plastic, they see the dunder, they see they see the reefs being destroyed by all kinds of things. They are not going to cooperate if we demonize them and target them unfairly. Right.
Well, that's all the time we have this morning. Mr. Andre Kong, thank you so much for coming on Agrobuzz this morning and giving us suggestions on how we can protect our coral reefs. An aged person needs to do our part. Thank you.
More than welcome. Always a pleasure.
Okay. Mr. Andre Kong, Director of Fisheries of the Fisheries Division, giving us all those highlights of what we can do. Let's continue to grow Jamaica's agriculture as we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Now, the ministry would like to remind stakeholders that the following agricultural items do not require an import permit: frozen fruits and vegetables, shredded vegetables, canned fruits and vegetables, dried fruits and vegetables, powdered material, processed material in general. Now, for more information on what's happening in the agricultural and agro-industry sector, please visit the ministry's website at micaf.gov.jm. Follow them on Twitter, check them on Facebook, and see you again next week for another Agrobuzz.
Eat what we grow.